Okay. Hello. This is this is gonna be very interesting. Kind of like a podcast style recording, just like a conversation, and I'll edit it down. No, there will not
Hello.
be a
Yeah.
blooper reel. I'm sorry. I guess everyone should introduce themselves. My voice just cracked.
First, I'm Raymond. I'm
Hey,
19. I'm very handsome. Uh,
he's neither of those things.
I
Hi,
love
I'm
you.
Philip. I'm 21 years old. Alcoholic.
Very nasty little individual Philip is.
Hi, I'm Caleb. I am 6'6". I have black nail polish and pierced ears.
I am 6'6". He immediately refers to his height before anything else.
Shut the fuck up.
God damn it.
Alright.
No cursing, Peyton, please.
It's my
Who are
show.
you?
I'll do what I want.
Introduce yourself. Come on.
Yeah, I'm Peyton. 19. Why did I
Looking
say
for
my
love.
age? Shut the fuck up. Oh lord. Yeah, I'm hosting this, sadly.
No, he's happy to see us. We haven't talked in over 20 years. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay,
You're
Chase.
21.
Did,
We should
did
probably...
Ryan say he was 21?
Yes, he did.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, we should get started.
Yeah.
First question. How do you feel overall about the situation in Ukraine?
It's a damn travesty is what it is. It's a tragedy. There's a lot of genuine civilian casualties, which is a sad state of war, but it does very much seem like the Russian government isn't particularly trying to avoid them either. It did warn in certain ways that this was a thing that was going to happen, but that alone shows that they were willing, and almost you could even say wanting, to cause civilian casualties. It's a way to demoralize the Ukrainian civilians and really the government as a whole.
Okay.
If that's working or not, I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it's actually radicalizing the people, pissing them off, for lack of a better word, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's tons of shit online. Have you all seen that video where that woman is like yelling at a Russian soldier, and she's like telling him to put sunflower seeds in his pocket so that when
When he dies.
yeah, sunflowers will grow out
Yeah.
of his corpse.
Yep. I think the big problem there is the Russians don't fully realize that while the Ukrainians are distinctly different when it comes to how I describe it, they are a different culture for sure, but they do share one thing in common, and that's an insane stoicism. They're very stoic people. It's come from their occupation under the Mongol rule, for a number at least. They had to become stoic thanks to the atrocities they suffered, and they both suffered them. I don't know if the Russians are really thinking about that. Uh, there's not really. I don't think there was ever a way that the Ukrainians were just going to lie down and give up. Especially since the Ukrainians' entire purpose has always been trying to create a distinct social and political identity from Russia. That's all they've ever wanted. I don't remember who said this exactly, but there was something I found very interesting when somebody said, when Ukraine's weak, it's Russia. But when Ukraine's strong, it's Ukraine. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I personally believe this is definitely going to be quite catastrophic long terms for not only just Ukraine and Russia, but I think for a good majority of the people that are backing each party. Because we're a lot of people online nowadays, they kind of tend to focus on the now, but I feel like the best thing to look at is the future. Yeah, thank you. Because the future is going to determine what's going to like happen at the end of all this, and it's and personally, I think this is going to end very badly. And if I'm being honest, probably definitely going to be something akin to a world war. I won't say World War III, but I definitely think it's going to be something catastrophic. Maybe it might be minor right now, but I think it'll be like at least a build up to something.
You could see this situation ballooning into something more extreme.
Exactly.
What about you, Caleb? What are your thoughts?
Damn, this whole situation is just kind of like a bad. Like, I mean, yes, Russia attacking Ukraine, not cool. Unlit, probably the worst thing they could have done. But like, one of the worst things about this is going to be the fact that A, people are literally dying, and B, the internet's just kind of making a whole fucking meme out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the
Like, bro.
desensitization of the internet definitely is showing with this.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many, like, fucking kids who are just like, I'm gonna go to Ukraine and become the Reaper of Death.
Not
Let's
realizing
drop in like this shit's Fortnite.
I think that raised another very good question. Is people? Oh, sorry, Caleb, keep going.
Oh no, it's fine. You can go.
I was just gonna say, I feel like a lot of people look at the Russians as a whole as a like synonymous unit. They're not. The Russian people as a whole aren't evil or bad or anything. They're not. It's the Russian government and the political structure that is causing this war. The Russian people, for the most part, really want nothing to do with it. They often see Ukraine as a part of themselves, for better or for worse. So in their eyes, a lot of them are literally just waging war against themselves. As I said, the Ukrainians don't necessarily fully agree, but in the end, they also just don't really want a war. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Except for obviously the, Russian pungents who really want that sweet ass bread, I guess.
That is another big problem, is the view as Russia as the bad guy, which they are the aggressor, but the people fighting in Ukraine are like fucking children.
Yeah, a lot of them are literally just conscripts.
Yeah, I was just
so
about
many
to
of
say
them
that
are like
too.
18 to 22-year-olds who are just like, yep, guess I'm going to war now. And
Yeah,
there's a video of them being blown up by an RPG.
Yeah, because here's the thing about this is that the desensitization of the internet has not only like made this conflict a joke to people, but it's also made people turn on the entirety of Russia, which they definitely should not, because a lot of people in Russia hate this just as much, if not more, than everyone else in the world. It's like the Russian government's decision to do this that you should be worried about, not like the Russians the Russian soldiers or just the Russian people in general. You should be looking at their government.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's not like the Russian people are like mustache twirling villains, like the Ukrainians are letting their place. No, they're like, oh my god, wait, we're doing this? Is this for real? Why are we doing this? They're people. They don't want to see untold amounts of destruction and death. This is terrible to them. I think so when people realize that, soon people realize, hey, that guy who's getting captured behind enemy lines, who's like, please don't kill me. He's like 14. Yo, he's a kid. Don't tell them to blow his brains out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the video I posted in general about the helicopter pilot who's being questioned on video, the comments on the post where I got that from, a lot of it was people saying shit like, kill him, execute him, put a bullet in his head, give him a shovel and tell him to start digging. Like, what? That's a human being. It doesn't matter that he's like an aggressor and a Russian. It's a fucking person. You can't just say, execute them. You're not like... What?
This isn't Judge
insane.
Dredd. Judge Dredd, yeah. Oh my god.
No, you don't understand. We need to go full on Punisher. Everyone who's done anything wrong.
Dude, they're being really weird and mean, dude. They're going to war.
The situation is not very good for the Russians, as far as I can tell. I saw a video, I don't remember if I posted it in general or not, I can check, but, yeah, I saw a video where there's, like, unit of Russian soldiers the guy is recording on his cell phone how they've been like holed up in a barn for a few days without food and water, and they've been like sleeping on the ground in a barn, and they've been told that like they're not gonna get relieved until they. I think they were told. I don't remember. I read the translation and I forgot, but they were told some shit like they were getting together their documents to give to like the Ukrainians or something in order to get relieved and like taken prisoner, and they haven't heard anything from their own higher ups. So they're just sitting there, just at some guy's farm. They can't do anything. It's a bunch of like fucking 19 to 30-year-old dudes.
No, but bro, you don't understand. They should firebomb the barn because those. Hey, Call of Duty.
What?
Stop. No, stop.
Hey,
No.
Call of Duty. Don't listen to him. No, don't listen to him.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Are you sure we can't have bloopers?
I'm absolutely certain.
No, you're not. You need to blooper some things. I'm sorry.
These are blooper material here, bro. Everything that Caleb says is blooper material.
What?
Caleb is one big ass blooper, nigga.
I would just like to say this tally mark for going off topic is not me.
this is all you. What do you mean?
Oh, I think we're
Are you
done. on
gonna
that question,
subtitle
right?
that as monkey noises?
We should, yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a video I posted in this is about the desensitization because of basically being terminally online, I guess. The video I posted again in general, I'll just throw it in post or some shit. It's like 4K widescreen of a Russian helicopter getting shot down by a missile, and it like slams into a field, cockpit first, and just fucking explodes. And a lot of the comments were shit like, "Oh my god, this is fucked up. This is war in like 4K Ultra HD. This is insane."
Don't call it
Yeah.
4K.
Yeah, that is the highest quality kill I've ever seen. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who posted this?
Yeah, it's super fucked up
Predator.
because it's like, and obviously there's other videos where people are like recording on their cell phones, like the aftermath of convoys getting ambushed, and it's very easy to just like try to look up current events in Ukraine and just see a video of dead bodies. And of course,
Yeah.
it's always been easy to see dead bodies on the internet, but this is a war that's happening as we speak. So you're seeing people who were killed like maybe 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
And
You know what the worst part is too? When I saw that video,
Hmm?
when I saw that, my first thought was like Call of Duty. That's not a joke. I think that alone is genuinely a really big issue. I think for the most part, a lot of us, we played games where you're on Call of Duty, Warzone, whatever you want to say, right? To where when we see things like a dead body or war, we almost look upon it in a positive light. It's cool, right? War is cool for a lot of people. Everybody thinks they're going to be a Call of Duty hero, until they get a bullet in their ass, and their intestines are ruptured, and they're sitting there bleeding to death on the ground. That's not even. That was my first thought, and then I immediately had to check myself and say, "What?
Yeah.
That's like insane." I think that alone. I think Americans as a whole, maybe even just the Western world, you could say, but I don't know too much about the Western world. I know about America. Americans as a whole glorify the military-industrial complex. It's something they're very proud of,
oh,
and
yeah,
so they make
absolutely.
because
Because
they make tons of.
it's basically something we're fed all the time. I don't want to get too much into like weird conspiracy bullshit, but like every single movie or game that receives funding from the U.S. military has to get checked by the U.S. military to make sure they're not painting it in a bad light. And if they
Yep.
do, they either have to change the script or they get all their funding revoked.
and I think it was Caleb who said this. Uh, he said, "I probably see murder, death, violence at least once a day." And I remember when he said that, I said, "Caleb, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you watching?" He says, "Caleb, you said this. Remember this, Caleb? You said, Raymond, think about the video games you play, the movies and shows you watch. How it's not just trivialized, but often played for laughs or a joke or for fun." Right? For example, even just the new game that came out, Elden Ring. The amount of people you kill, watch die, is staggering. Right?
I just backstabbed a guy.
Like that's what I mean. For example, Arma. We as a whole, as a society, are incredibly desensitized to death. And I think that alone is a very big problem.
Yeah, and yeah, I think like gamification of war
Exactly, that's a good way to
as
describe it.
like I don't want to say a tool of desensitization, but I guess the
It is. That's what it is. It's a tool of desensitization. Because if you tell everybody, "Hey, no, don't worry, it's just like Call of Duty," it seems a lot less dire and terrifying and
yeah,
violent and aggressive
and you
and
see
horrible.
ads on like TV for the U.S. military where it's like, this is just like your favorite video game. Look, we're driving around like a fucking war zone or whatever, and we're doing cool America good shit.
Hey, if you join the Air Force, you can use an Xbox controller to fly a drone.
This
Yeah.
Warzone tournament is sponsored by the U.S. Navy.
Shit like that. That would be
The
real.
U.S. Army having a Twitch channel.
Fucking. Oh my
I can
God.
believe these things. That's the problem.
No, the
Also,
US
we
Army
went over
does
to the
have a
next
Twitch
question,
channel.
right?
They do have a Twitch channel that they did a fake giveaway on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's real.
Where do you think he got this information? His head? No.
hate.
Stop it.
We went over to the next question, right? This is the next question.
It's a question I made up while we were talking about the first thing,
Okay.
but we can move on to the
Oh.
second one if you want.
No, I was just wondering to make sure we weren't sort of talking about the same thing, and it would just become a prolonged tangent. I remember the question.
That was a
We're
very
talking
long
about-
tangent.
Okay, but yeah, let's move on to the other question.
How do you feel about the U.S. response to what's happening between Ukraine and Russia?
That's a good question. Anybody want to go first? I feel like I've been taking over.
Yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. So I think what the U.S. is doing is, I don't want to say it, but I think it's okay what they're doing right now, because on one hand they are our ally, but on the other hand they're also in like a war that we didn't start, and and I personally don't think we should get involved unless like we absolutely need to, like it's essential. Anyone else?
I
okay.
feel like the
That's
U.S.
out.
has created a very significant problem here. Because, one, I mean, we've kind of just shown that, I mean, it is okay to attack other nations for 10 plus years and bomb civilian areas and just kind of get away with it. The problem is Ukraine is fighting back, whereas the countries we do that to literally can't afford it. And the fact that the US isn't helping Ukraine in any significant way except for providing weapons and sanctioning Russia, which just hurts the Russian people more, is kinda not good.
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
it's a very sorry. Do you want
Oh, go first.
I think it's a very difficult thing to balance because on one hand, of course, there's like, yeah, Ukraine, we've been close allies with them since the USSR fell apart. And yeah, we haven't necessarily been helping them much besides you giving weapons and economic and humanitarian aid. And yeah, that fucking sucks. We can't do anything about it because on the other hand, Russia and Belarus have threatened like actual nuclear retaliation if anything happened.
Which is psycho. That's psycho.
No, it's fucking insane. But then you get stuff like and I don't know if anything's come of this yet, but a week or so ago, might have been more than a week ago, uh, Portugal sent like 100 dudes to Ukraine to help the Ukrainian military, I think, and they were gonna like sit in Romania for a little bit before they actually went in. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking something's gonna happen to them to like bait an Article 5 response.
That's what you mean.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I said, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't know. I I don't think I could fathom a war between Russia and the majority of the Western world.
I think as a whole, a lot of us can't. We've grown up, I don't want to say in a peaceful time, but in a time where grand scale warfare isn't really a thing. It's the war on terror. You know, it's specialized strikes, right? To like warfare between two massive, very well funded, very rich, very powerful countries. I think for us is pretty unheard of, and probably has been unheard of for what 50 years. That seem fair? About 50 years?
Uh, probably.
Yeah, I think about 50 years. I can't say that for sure. And if I'm wrong, I think that goes to show even further that if I'm wrong, we don't really know. Don't really know. You know, I think I think though. All right, how would I phrase this? I think I'm coming up with a hot opinion here. I think we can all agree war is a bad, right?
I don't
War
know,
isn't
bro.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who make those fucking javelin missiles are probably making a lot of money off of this.
Oh yeah, no, Lockheed Martin was after that bag.
They were they're getting that bad. But no, but war is a bad as a whole. As a
Yeah,
structure, war, what it is the continued use of force and aggression against somebody else to make them comply to your will. Would you say that's a very fair explanation of what war is?
I'd say so.
All right.
Clausewitz ass response.
But
Um,
I would also say though, I don't want America to go to war against Russia. I also those things. I don't. I think Russia's talking out of its ass. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Russia's really willing to go to nuclear war with the entire world, the entire Western world over
over
Ukraine. I think
Ukraine,
it's
yeah.
I think it's the fear of nuclear warfare that's keeping us out, which obviously that's what it is, right? Because none of us can imagine the reality of nuclear warfare, and that scares I think a lot of people somewhat even more. Because the idea of okay, now we're using nukes changes our entire battlefield,
Yeah.
right?
But I also think that, uh, obviously, the farther Russia gets into this war, the more. Oh god, I'm gonna use untenable again, I think. The more untenable the prospect of them fighting off a NATO counterattack really gets. And that's under the assumption, of course, that the theory that, oh, this is only the first wave, so it's only conscripts and shit, is like a complete fucking lie.
Yeah,
Because Russia's getting their ass kicked right now. Of course, it's not going to last forever. It can't last forever.
yeah. The
Ukraine
war is
doesn't have
just starting.
the
Even
material to
like
do that,
usually,
but there's
yeah.
like a 40-mile long convoy that's just stuck because the Ukrainians blew up one bridge.
Yep, which is, oh my god. But yeah, no, I can pull up a source right now. So apparently, according to a Pentagon correspondent, 95 of the combat power Russia amassed for the invasion of Ukraine are now in Ukraine, with no significant movements along the Russian advance in the north. Right.
Yeah,
So
it's a stalemate right now.
it's a stalemate, exactly, which is genuinely very impressive on Ukraine's part. But that's
Yeah,
not what we're talking about. We're not talking about how impressive Ukraine is, because Ukraine shouldn't have had to fight this war in the first place.
obviously, yeah. Uh, but yeah, this is backfiring a lot for Russia because they've basically destroyed European neutrality. I believe Finland and Sweden are trying to join. I don't remember if they're trying to join the EU or join NATO. It's either one.
Oh
Uh,
shit!
yeah, and
Oh my god!
Russia's already threatened Finland for thinking of joining NATO, I think it was, which is super fucked up. Uh, Germany is ballooning their military budget to like 100 billion euros, which is gonna make it one of the top 5 in the world, which is frankly fucking insane.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
This
that's
is not gonna this is not gonna end well for Russia, dude. Oh
yeah. I
god,
don't
their
see this.
economy's in free fall. They're arresting anti-war protesters.
And there's lots of anti-war protesters. We should talk about anti-war protesters. We should have eventually,
Sure,
because
yeah.
there's many.
If you want to hop onto that now, I don't know.
No, let's do it later. Keep going.
Okay, that's all I had to say.
Oh, okay. Well, and all I was going to say was, as I said, we could stand here, what, congratulating Ukraine for its amazing defense of its home country, but that's not what we should be doing here. Because that, in the end, without even realizing, is glorifying war as this amazing, glorifying, beautiful thing. It's not. It's dirty. Fathers are dying right next to their sons. Boys are dying. Boys. People younger than us. 18, 17-year-olds lying about their age so they can fight for their country, be a hero, and dying in their own blood.
Yeah, and
Right.
on that, I believe a few days ago, Caleb told me something that kind of fucked me up. Uh, it was about like Ukrainian soldier who was like making TikTok videos so that his daughter would know that he's not dead.
Yes,
And
I've
then
seen that video.
he stopped uploading for a few days, and people were like freaking out. And then he came back and made another video and was like, "Yeah, I was just like busy."
That alone says so much. That's another thing we should also mention. This war is probably going to be the most televised war that we've ever had.
Oh yeah,
Not
I would say this is like the most publicized war in modern history, I guess.
I mean, I would say so because it's been what, a week or two. I would say about a week or two of this war.
Yeah, and from the very beginning, you had motherfuckers with like webcams on balconies live streaming before it started. And when it started a few weeks ago, I was like watching a live stream, and all of a sudden, boom, rocket artillery from Russia just slamming into Kharkiv, and I'm like, huh? What?
Which is still happening, by the way. They're still bombing Kharkiv.
Yeah, fuck.
Yep, but they described it as
Like, what was it? It was on that map. They closed down a route where people were leaving.
oh yeah, no, they bombed a civilian escort place, remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, if Russia wants to, they're like trying to paint themselves as the bad guy, which is so weird. I don't really get the whole idea behind this, because the thing is, this is gonna be terrible for ongoing, like, European negotiations. Like, the political standing of Europe right now is in shambles. It's really bizarre. Uh, Ukraine is probably gonna never forgive Russia in the foreseeable future for what it's done. And Ukrainians don't forget. I'm sorry. Ukrainians don't forget. I don't want to say it, but the Ukrainian people, as a whole, as a nation, are probably not going to forget this. Not anytime soon. And their children aren't going to forget this. And the people whose parents have died, they're never going to forget this.
Yeah, Russia's made some wondrously horrific. God, that's a terrible thing to say, but they made some wondrously horrific fuck ups. I think they're still like fucking shelling the largest nuclear power plant in Europe.
Literally they're like, hey, don't do that. That's a very dangerous idea.
Yeah, I saw a video from inside the plant where they're on the PA system begging them to stop shooting because they would create an ecological disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw another video where Russian soldiers just fucking shoot a guy because a bunch of civilians are standing there recording them and getting closer to them because I don't know what they're doing, but out of nowhere, one of the Russians just, I think, shoots the ground in front of the guy, and shards of stone come up and fucking hit him or something like that, or the bullet ricochets or something. But he just goes down.
It's a bullet, man. Jesus.
Yeah, and so people are rushing up to try and help him. One person runs up and then walks away, bawling their eyes out. And the entire time the Russians are screaming at them and firing in the air.
Oh my god. That's what happens when you send in a bunch of conscripts, I guess. That's the thing. Conscripts aren't exactly the best if you want a clean war. As a whole, you have to train your people pretty thoroughly for war. If you want them to not, for lack of a better word, commit atrocities, and there's still a good chance they're going to commit atrocities.
Yeah.
Iraq, for example, in America. Right? That's the thing. We did some absolutely horrendous things in Iraq. And would you say it's fair to say America is one of the most highly trained militaries in the world?
I'm no expert, but probably. We
At the very
certainly
least,
have
it's
the
one of the most.
funding for it.
You have the funding for it.
Yeah.
And I'm no expert either. But I would say they're pretty fair. Let's look at it. They're fairly trained. They're pretty good. They're pretty well trained. And still, when you're in that moment, your adrenaline takes over. You're in a position of power. You have a gun in your hands. And let's say you're scared, you're nervous, you're angry, and there's an easy out. In that moment, when you're in fight or flight, why wouldn't you take it? Unless you have the training to tell you to not take it, to kick in, to keep yourself calm, relaxed. Right? Or as relaxed, I suppose, you can be in a war zone.
Yeah.
That's the thing. How long do you think they trained these conscripts? Because the first invasion happened very quickly.
Yeah. I think
can't
that's
depend
one
on
of the common themes with.
I was muted. I've been talking the whole time. Dude, I thought Peyton fucking just like ran over me. I was like, all right.
No, we didn't
When
hear
did you mute yourself?
My dogs were going off.
Oh my god. Okay, well that's fair. Good thing you muted yourself then. We weren't ignoring you.
Okay, I know you weren't. I just fucking realized that.
Oh god. No.
This is going in the bloopers.
No, you have to put on like subtitles, like the reason Alex isn't
for like
talking.
10 fucking minutes.
Oh my fucking god.
God damn.
Real Ryan moment.
Shit. Did you want to say anything before we move on to the next?
No.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
just go on.
Okay.
I didn't have too much. I was just adding on to what you guys were saying.
Okay, then let's go on to the next topic.
Okay. The next topic. How do you feel about the international response? I mistyped and forgot the T in about.
About? How do you feel about the international response?
Yeah, how do
You should probably repeat the full question.
how do you feel about the international response? So, from NATO, who I believe for the first time in history activated their response forces in full. The UN, I believe, the majority of the UN condemning the attack, and also the majority of the UN Security Council walking out when the Russian ambassador began speaking, which is insanely disrespectful.
That's kind of based. I'm sorry. That's good.
But yeah, how do you all feel?
I think for the most part, a lot of the international response is pretty similar. Hey, what Russia's doing is reprehensible and deplorable, but we're also afraid to actively enter a genuine engagement with Russia. I'd say that's how a lot of it seems like nations feel. I don't know how many actually support Russia though. I genuinely don't.
Yeah.
I believe there were like 5 countries that voted against condemning the war, and it was like Belarus, Syria, and a few other countries. But I think Belarus was like the only CSTO country that voted no to condemning Russia's attack, and I don't know what the others did. I feel like they either abstained or voted yes for some reason.
Okay.
But if I were an ally of Russia, I would probably not be voting yes to that.
Yeah. If I was an ally of Russia, I'd probably try to abstain as much as I could. I wouldn't
Yeah.
try to. Yeah, because in the end, it's if you say yeah, Russia's doing good, you basically what's the opposite of endear yourself to the rest of the world? The rest of the modern world will look at you as a insane war criminal. I would say, like how a lot of them are looking at Putin right now.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Mhm.
I would say how I feel about it. Hmm. I wish it was more decisive. As of right now, I can see they're trying to become more decisive. Right? Yeah, that- I think that's a good thing. Uh, Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
Yeah.
hear
we're
you.
listening.
Okay. Like I said, I think that's a good thing. But a lack of decisiveness, or sorry, a lack of decisiveness. My mouth,
Nest.
my mouth. Let me preface by saying I just got like 4 teeth pulled like 6 days ago, 5 days ago. A lack of decisiveness, fucking Christ, decisiveness is going to lead to the death of many Ukrainian people who don't have to die. That's genuinely how I feel. We need to be decisive here. In times of war, decisiveness is important. It makes or breaks military operations, and that's what this is at this point. This is a military operation, I think, for a lot of the world. That's how they're looking at it, is a military operation, or at least a military operation in waiting. And if we don't engage this military situation properly, thousands, if not millions, are going to die. So we need to be careful here, but decisive. And so far, I'm not seeing the decisiveness I like. That's how I describe it. All right, who else has any sentences?
I, I I think the response from NATO as a whole has pretty much shown that. I mean, if someone threatens nuclear warfare, everyone's just going to sit back and say you can kill as many civilians as you want. I mean, Russia's actively bombed residential areas, and the UN and NATO have sat back and said, okay, well, we're going to take away Visa, and Microsoft, you're not allowed to sell Xboxes in Russia anymore. No more, okay? And it hurts the Russian people a lot. I mean, they're all highly impoverished now and can't buy food. But I mean, no one in the Russian government is going, oh, damn, I needed my Xbox today. Let's stop bombing whatever city. What is it? Mariupol? It's a southern
Mariupol?
city. Yeah,
Mariupol?
Mariupol.
I
That
can't
had
pronounce
to.
any of these, I'm sorry.
Well, shit,
Yeah.
guys.
That had
Sorry, I
to.
gotta go get my food stamps.
Oh,
Except they don't like. What are food stamps going to do if the places providing the food can't afford it?
Exactly. Yeah.
that's the
But
thing.
I mean, certain cities have had to stop their evacuation efforts because they're just getting bombed too hard, and NATO's sitting there going, what do we do? Belarus!
Guys,
No,
stop
guys, you
it!
don't understand. If we go into a ground war, we might get hurt.
Yeah, that's the horrible fucking thing. World leaders have to weigh the lives of their own people against the lives of, like, how many people live in Ukraine? Isn't it like 40 million?
Yeah, and over 1 million have already moved into Poland.
Yep.
Yeah,
But think about how many people aren't going people aren't going to be able to make it out.
Yeah.
I believe the
Or how-
current tally for confirmed deaths was about 360-ish. But the
Yeah.
UN's already stated they believe it's way higher than that.
That's only
They
It
just
has to
confirmed.
can't
be.
count the bodies.
Exactly. There's some of them are literally just too mangled or they got lost.
And who
Right.
are they considering civilians?
Yeah.
And who's a combatant?
Fuck. Yeah, it's really fucked up. And I'm sorry for piggybacking off of a topic from literally half an hour ago, but this is gonna have, oh god, this is gonna sound dispassionate as hell. This is gonna have massive international repercussions in the future, or near future, because the economy of Russia is fucked up. The economy of Ukraine and its infrastructure is just gonna be fucking destroyed. Because I believe infrastructure was one of the first things Russia targeted.
Yes.
Yeah,
With cyber
and they've
attacks
still
and
actively
bombardments.
been attacking it.
And of course, there's gonna be most definitely a Ukrainian refugee crisis, and I'm very cynical. Part of me is going to wonder if the European nations or God, the like Western or whatever nations receive them will treat them differently, specifically because the majority of them are not Muslims.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, we've already seen people referring to this as the first civilized war in modern history. This is the first two civilized nations going to war.
Yeah.
Civilized.
What?
One thing I think we also need to remember, I can't. The war is really probably just beginning. Even quick conflicts that end in very quick, swift military victory usually take at least a month and a half. You know,
Yeah. And
this
Russia's
is
not doing too well at making this decisive.
yeah,
See,
exactly. I
the
mean,
problem is Putin seems like he really wants to win this, and he has enough numbers to just consistently bomb this entire nation for a few years.
which is
Yeah,
what he's
definitely.
doing.
The only thing he needs to do is make sure that his own soldiers don't just hate him, and that his people don't rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is a very
Russia just recently passed laws, if I remember correctly, something like 20 years in prison for spreading like military disinformation.
Jesus.
Ooh.
And
That is steep.
from what I've heard anecdotally from people who live in Russia, that basically amounts to shit like calling it a war of aggression, stuff like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a denazification war, obviously.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to say something about that. It's very rich to be calling it a war of denazification when, uh, of course, things like the Azov Battalion exist, blah blah blah, but like, there are also neo-Nazis in the Russian military. I saw a picture that was like, uh, a squad's worth of people just openly brandishing white supremacist symbols and shit. And the Wagner Group, which is a Russian mercenary company that I believe helps train. I think it's the Russian special forces. They're basically under the thumb of Putin. They're the guys who, a few years ago, I think, tried to attack a U.S. FOB in Syria and got like fucking destroyed by mortars. Their leader is openly a white supremacist neo-Nazi who has like SS Thunderbolts tattooed onto his neck.
God,
Ooh.
yikes! Ooh, oh
Yeah,
man.
it's a denazification war, guys. Ukraine's got too many Nazis in the government oppressing the Russian minority.
Yes, of course. It's fucking. It to me in particular, I really my question is how did Putin think the Western world was going to respond? I think that's why I think in particular that's why I don't know if he really is going to even conceive of going through with nuclear retaliation for proposed aggression from the Western world. Because I think he, especially now with his economy, as we said, getting close to being in shambles, thanks to the war he's doing. I don't know if how to describe it. The amount of power he would actually lose doing that might be the tipping point, if you know what I mean. Because I imagine also the Russian people don't want nuclear war.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I think the fear in the back of my head is if Putin gets ousted by like a military coup or some shit, is the person who replaces him gonna be better?
probably not. Military coups often don't come to, it usually doesn't lead to better regimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
if he doesn't get replaced by a coup and he just gets like ousted by, I don't know how Russia's government works, but if he
Their
just gets like
parliament, probably.
Yeah, if he gets removed from power by their government, again, is the person who replaces him going to be any better? Because Putin is
What
like
do you
fucking
constitute better?
ruthless. I would say, not overtly authoritarian and like
Democracy!
warmongering.
I would say there's a very good chance it's possible. If they're outing Putin for those exact things, you can come out of country. At the very least, at the very beginning, there's a good chance he may not be. There's been a noticeable trend of as, you know, a ruler gets on in age and has ruled for longer and longer, they tend to become more cruel, more authoritarian. It's a thing we've seen all throughout history, right?
Yeah.
It's a played out trope at this point, and Putin's definitely leaning into it. So the question would be, what would be his relations, I think, with the Western world? I think that would genuinely be very important. Because as of right now, I think Russia as a whole has almost isolated itself, especially Putin has isolated himself. I mean, think about how often he genuinely does just go to talk to others and how almost stunted. Have you ever seen the interviews? They're very stunted. There's a noticeable wall there.
Really?
Watch the interviews, you'll see what I mean. Putin doesn't feel like a very almost personable guy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're meaning.
Yeah, you're seeing what I mean? He's a very powerful man. You can just feel that coming off him. He feels powerful. He feels dangerous when you look at him too. But he doesn't feel warm in the slightest. He doesn't feel necessarily like a political leader. He feels like a military leader. And I think that alone is part of the problem. Because I mean, when you look at Putin, do you see which do you see in particular? Because that's what I see.
No, that's why you find memes where it's like, wow, Putin holding like a dog and he doesn't look like a complete, like,
Sociopath,
monster. Wow, that's weird.
right?
Hey, did you see the president of Russia, like, cried a single time?
Ever? Has he shown emotion?
Yeah.
Does he know how to?
I think I've seen a picture of him like stoically fishing without a shirt on.
I've seen a picture of him literally riding on a horse with a snow shirt. Like Putin's, that's what he does weird shit. He does weird shit that you see like weirdo, bizarre, like I hate to say it, but like hyper Republicans do. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean.
See, no, the problem is a lot of the photos you see of him look like they belong in like an I'm a Man magazine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. Like you can, and even like if you look at his smiles, they often just look very forced, cold, cunning. He doesn't look happy. He looks pleased.
He looks like he's a motherfucker scheming.
Exactly. He looks pleased as opposed to happy. Those aren't necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I feel like, as a whole, Putin is a dictator. We know that. And he's very good at consolidating power. He's done that very well. He's the most powerful man in this country, obviously, by a long shot. A lot of people are scared of him to death. As they should be. As we've seen, Putin is more than willing to put down political dissidents.
Oh, he puts his political enemies in prison and just has fake people running against him in the elections.
Exactly.
Or he attempts to kill them.
Not even he kills them.
Yeah, he puts like... What the fuck was it? It was like some specific isotope of like... Oh god. Thorium or some shit that he had assassins slip into some dude's drink, and everyone immediately knew it was a Russian assassination because that isotope is like only produced in Russia.
Talk about Navalny?
Yeah, Navalny.
Yeah, and how they had to like fly him out to Germany because they couldn't trust it. Doctors in Russia were like, "There's not much wrong with him.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, he could go home, sip some water, and I think he'll be fine tomorrow."
I think he's just sick.
And then they found like, what was it? A nerve agent?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was what it was. It was like a specifically Russia-only nerve agent.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Putin's fucking scary. He's a very scary person. I mean,
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
even
he got
like
an example of what he could do by what America did in Afghanistan. I mean, how
yes.
many times we just bombed civilians and we're like, whoopsie daisy.
I mean, that's
Like,
not crazy.
yo,
That might be
Peyton,
genuine.
that
I'm
one
so
time,
confused.
in senior year, in I think January-ish, when we bombed like 42 farmers, and the chief of staff for the U.S. Air Force was like, "So we thought it was a training camp for ISIS. We made a mistake.
Yeah, and it was like,
Whoops.
It was just 42 pine nut farmers."
yeah, it was
That's
like
not a
pine nut
whoops
farmers.
moment, dog.
Yeah, it was like pine nut farmers gathered around a fire during their break and just like
Yeah,
shooting the shit and talking.
and 42 dead people were the ones they could find, or bits of them.
Ugh. Fuck.
And the person behind that drone probably had zero care in the world at that moment because he was just clicking B on an Xbox controller.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
Oh my God.
that's a big part of why drone warfare is like fucking repugnant. Because you're taking out probably, I hate to say this, one of the most crucial aspects of war is the fact that you are seeing the people that you kill. Like, you know you are killing human beings and you have to live with that. If you're seeing it on, like, a black and white screen, like it's the AC-130 mission in Call of Duty 4, and you're just pressing a button and watching... what the fuck do they call them? There's, like, some stupid slang that, like, drone operators use. It's, like, squishies or something?
Squirter.
Squirter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh yeah, I just bagged 40 squirters. Mission accomplished.
Alright, boys, let's go get a beer.
See, and that's fucked
it's
up
like
because
a
I
day job.
remember that exact AC-130 mission, and that shit was fun. Bro, one of the best Call of Duty missions. You can't tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, and even during
I just
the
bagged
mission,
50 squirters that round.
even during the mission, you hear the AC-130 crew being like, nice shot. Hey,
Oh my
that
God.
one flew. Awesome. You got him.
Woo!
That's what I mean. Like the absolute the way human beings now, I think, view death via war is insane, or violence. Even that's not even necessarily just a violence. The way human beings view violence now, it's been so desensitized that it's kind of crazy. It's not. And I don't. I mean, it's not real for a lot of humans. It's not real. They can see a guy blow up and they're like, "That's not real," and they don't conceptualize that as real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because as soon as the person's shot, you can just click off of it. You don't have to hear them screaming.
Exactly.
Or the person who was next to them crying over the fact that one of their best friends was just executed by someone that they couldn't even see in a country 600 miles away.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to bring it back to, like, terminal onlineness, but there's one subreddit, combat footage, and it's fucking it's literally just combat footage and, like, people getting shot and killed in wars, and a lot of the time the majority of the comments are people, like, being backseat armchair tacticians and analyzing every single thing that the people did wrong.
I hate that
if
shit
he would
so
have rolled
much.
4 feet to the right, he could have dodged that missile.
No,
I
it's
hate that shit.
like,
Dude, the blast zone of that mortar in Arma is only 5 feet. They should have just moved out of the blast radius.
Look, guys.
Dude,
Come
on.
Tag him in time.
Simple.
I hate that. That shit pisses me off so much. Peyton, go.
it's always some shit like, well, if he was following the tactical doctrina of, I don't know, the fucking Taliban like he was supposed to, he would have been watching his battle buddies back and made sure that the sniper 1,000 feet away didn't shoot him and kill him instantly without him knowing.
I would have just used a 120 millimeter at that point.
I would have just used my
Leave it
Beretta.
range.
I would have my anti-material rifle.
Bro,
Like,
he
you know,
didn't have his helmet on correctly. That would have saved his life. I am
no,
very
shit
sorry.
like that is insane. Like, I think people forget, just in war, you can just die. And I don't think, I know people are like, oh, obviously, but I don't think they conceptualize how quick and easy
The problem
it is to
I don't
die.
even think anyone here can conceptualize just how fast and painful you could die.
Exactly.
Well, no,
Instant.
You could
None
go
of us-
3 days and you don't even
See-
see who your enemy is. You're just unlucky and a mortar hits you.
I don't want to say none of
Or
us have
hits
been
20 feet
in
from you.
like a life or death situation, but none of us have been in a war. That I know for a fact.
Exactly. None of us have been in a war. Right. That's the thing.
I was
that,
in the
that,
trenches.
Caleb's actually 80 years
Well,
old.
while I was grinding Call of Duty Ghosts, you were all playing Skylanders.
Sorry,
Oh,
Caleb.
God.
Do I gotta salute you now?
It's
Thank
like
you for
that.
your
No,
service.
it's like one of the most fucked up things is it was like one of the biggest memes for a while, and it was a Vine. It was that kid going, "I'm gonna be a U.S. Army soldier."
Oh yeah, you're
He had
disrespecting.
already been raised to the point where I'm assuming his parents just hated Muslim people because of 9/11. And so he decided from that point, you know what? I'm gonna join the U.S. military,
And he did.
That's me.
He's
and
in
he
the
did.
army.
He's in the
Now
army.
he's casually dropping drone strikes on civilian people in the U.S. What an
that reminds
American!
me. My friend Connor. You've probably heard my friend. You've probably heard my girlfriend Kay talk about her. Yep. I love the guy, but he's been brainwashed. By his father. His father is a vet. He moved from he was from Marines to Navy SEALs to CIA. He was the guy you think of when you think of guy with gun. Connor's dad
Jason
was.
Bourne.
And so of course Connor's like, I want to be that. So he signs up for the military, and he becomes an operator, psyop, right? And this is something I remember in particular. He was describing to me some of the things he's had to do as psychological operations when he was deployed. And he described having to talk to some of these civilians and into local leaders. And he basically told me without telling me, because he can't outright say it, that he would lie to them.
Yeah.
He would lie to them right to their face. And I just remember saying these words, I'm sorry. And what he said will stick with me. He said, thank you. That genuinely stuck with me because that hurt. Because Connor's a good guy. Much as I talk shit about him, he's a very good man. And I know what he's doing and what he does, it hurts him in his soul. But he doesn't know anything else to do. This is what he's been taught his whole life to do. And I feel really bad for him. Because he's also seen really fucked up shit. He's seen a poor private damn near get his head blown off. And then just quit the war because his superior officer just left the kid.
I always remember you telling me that story.
Yeah, because it's
You can tell
horrible.
that story again in full if you want. We've got time.
Alright, then I'll tell it real quick. So, Connor, right, he was deployed, and he was, just chilling out, and then he sees this kid sitting on a bench. Dude looks frazzled, he's bleeding a bit, bloodied, beaten up. And he hears somebody yelling in a room nearby, his superior officer. And he's like, okay. And so he goes hey man, you good? And he tells him this story. So this private, 18 years old, younger than all of us, mind you, was driving a Humvee down a road. For the most part, this road was thought to be, cleared, safe, even you could say. That guy's commissioned officer, they hop out the car, right? They go out, they walk off a bit, they start talking. They tell him to keep going. He does. And as he does, he runs over an IED. And it explodes and blows up. And immediately the first thing that happens is his head slams into the top of the Humvee with insane force, knocking him out, cracking his skull. And he passes out instantly, right? They see the explosion. They see some of the wreckage. They're like, oh, he's dead. Huh. Well, we need to go report that. Now we need to report that. They don't check. They just leave him there. Because it was that bad. They're like, he's dead. There's no way he survived that. He wakes up a couple hours later. His head hurts an insane amount. He's thirsty. He's tired. He's confused. As he's looking around, he's like, oh my god, I'm I don't know where I am, but I'm pretty sure I'm in enemy territory. Open up. He hears on the door. he hears open up on the door, and he starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my, no, I'm not opening the door. Who the fuck are you?" It's the military. Calm down. It's us. As they knock again, this goes on for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And eventually he gets tired enough, and the entire time he's sure he's gonna die. Eventually he just gives up. He says, "I don't care anymore," and opens the door. And it is the military. He got lucky. They found him first. And they bring him back to base. And as Connor's sitting here, eyes wide, as this kid tells him, the kid just leaves like, "I can't do this anymore. I'm getting out. I'm done." And Connor's like, "I don't blame you. I'd probably do the same, man. Here's my number. If you need to talk, I'm here." And they keep in contact, and apparently the dude's doing decently okay. I think he's like interning for a mechanic right now or some shit. But when I heard that is one of the most horrible things I've heard in a very long time. Simply because of the fact I could relate to that so easily. Just the pure human error that happens that leads to that kind of scenario. He's never going to be able to sleep again. Not really. Not. He hears fireworks, he's going to jump out of his bed. You know what I mean? That's terrible, debilitating PTSD. Probably for the rest of his life. And of course, people are going to be like, he's not a real veteran. He hasn't seen combat. But I mean, does it matter? He's a veteran in every way that matters. He served his country, but his country obviously didn't really give a shit about him. At the very least, his superior officers didn't. And then, of course, they got chewed out, right? And I think it was the commissioned officer on base said, "You're not going to go anywhere. You're staying here. All right? You're not moving up the ranks. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you get punished. Now you lose your rank, as a matter of fact." I don't know what happened after that, because soon after that, his tour was over and he had to come back home. Connors was. But I think about that story, and I could see myself as that kid, and I imagine a lot of us here could. Right? That's the reality for a lot of people. You're not going to be a hero or a badass. You're just going to be scared, terrified for your life. That's what war is to me. War isn't beautiful. I grew up in a family where a lot of people went to war. I have uncles in navies and Coast Guard and Army, Marines, all that stuff. I don't want to go to war. Air Force. War is this beautiful thing. None of them came back the same person. You can't come back the same person after that. After it takes, 8 years of your life at least? 10, 20 years of your life? You can't be the same person that come back. And that's not even counting the experiences that you've gone over in the service. It changes you irreparably. For better or for worse, that's that's subjective. I can't make that choice. But it changes you. There's no question about that. And you're usually a harder man when you come back. Now, what were we talking about beforehand?
I think we were talking about the U.S. military culture and the desensitization to war.
Yeah. Exactly. That's perfect, because that is what war is to me. War is people dying, thinking they're gonna die, crying, fear, shitting themselves. He did that kid did piss himself. I'm sorry, I did forget to mention that, but it did happen. I shouldn't be laughing, but the way Connor described it was really funny. He said I could smell piss off the kid just radiating off him like the Force. Or no, he said like an aura or some shit.
Oh my god! Imagine having someone say you have a piss aura.
God.
Motherfucker has a piss aura.
God. Yeah, this is probably gonna sound fucking dumb because I'm a filthy Westoid who hasn't actually seen conflict or whatever the fuck. But
did you just say Westoid?
I did in fact just say Westoid. Yeah, I'm channeling fucking Twitter tankies now.
Westoid.
But yeah, I see shit that's oh, it's like cell phone footage of the aftermath of like a Russian convoy that got ambushed by like Ukrainian special forces, and it's just burned out vehicles and dead bodies and like blood and shell casings. And the second, and of course I don't watch for too long because I'm can't fucking do that. Uh, I just see like a body, and I'm like, that's a human person who was probably my age or younger. Who's
Thoughts,
just dead.
feelings, yep, aspirations,
He had family, friends, shit like that.
hobbies.
Just a week or a few weeks before, he was probably like shit posting on a Russian forum.
He was probably doing that as he was hit. Or
And
just has a phone.
Yeah, and it's super fucked up. Because it's like, God, I don't know, it's hard to describe without getting weird. I don't know. But there's...
I don't think it is. It hurts to see because you can relate to that man more than you probably think you should or could.
Yeah, and he's just dead
Dead
needlessly
forever.
because of, well, I would say directly because of Vladimir Putin.
Yes,
And
and he'll never know the pain of that family. Ever.
yeah, he doesn't
He'll never
care.
know it.
I
He doesn't care.
I genuinely believe that Putin does not give a shit at all
Of
about human
course,
suffering.
why would he? Yeah, why would he, right? He's powerful, he's rich. That's the problem. That right there. You can't have that as a leader, where your people and others think you just don't give a shit about human suffering. Which, once again, goes to the whole point that Putin is a very cold. Like I said, I genuinely recommend you, Peyton, just watch some videos of him. Like, he's just... There's something not there, right? You know what I mean? Like, he just feels so cold. It's kind of crazy to watch.
Yeah. I guess I had two more smaller questions before we wrap this up. One of them, I don't know how significant this is, because it kind of ties into the earlier stuff about, like, war being not good. I've heard that there's, I shouldn't be laughing. I heard there's, footage of, Russian soldiers, and I've talked about this earlier, you might remember, or not earlier today, but like a few days ago, but footage of Russian soldiers, taking the phones off of dead Ukrainians and calling their families and being like, "Hey, your son's dead. He just died. We're letting you know that."
That's just evil. That's like, I'm sorry, that is actually like hyper evil.
You think so?
I genuinely do. I really do.
No, the thing there is, that's actually super dependent. Like death notification, at least in EMS in like the US, you want the family, although you are supposed to tell them in person. One thing you want to happen is for a person to tell them and not have them see like a newscast or a video
I completely agree. I
or a
don't think it's
picture
that
of their
is
family
evil.
member just gone.
I know. I'm not saying them getting told is what's bad. They should absolutely be told, and probably as soon as possible. I understand that. I'm saying that not just the man who killed them, but the man in a Russian accent. Because let's not forget, Ukrainian accents and Russian accents are very different. We may not hear the difference, but there's a very, very big difference. You will be able to probably tell the difference.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you also have to imagine a lot of, especially if they're a parent, they're probably a bit older, and they went through the experiences of Crimea. I mean, this isn't the first time that Russia has attacked them.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you think they're going to feel when they found out, oh, great, now the Russians have taken my boy?
See, no, they're probably thinking, wow, Russia just forced this child to take my child. And they're going to be angry.
That's not how they're going to think. Okay, I'm sorry, that's not how they're going to think. They're going to be pissed.
Knowing the internet.
Don't forget this. Yeah, they're gonna be fucking mad and in agony. And when you're in agony, you're not thinking straight. They're gonna be like, they just forced this boy to take my boy. How could they do this? That was so cruel. They're gonna be, you just killed my son, you fucking monster. You Russian pig.
Yeah, but that's the immediate reaction.
That is the
Imagine if they
immediate
just
reaction.
never found out.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they shouldn't be told. That's like I said. I'm not saying that all they shouldn't be told, and I'm saying what they're doing is actually quite noble. What they think they're doing, but what they're actually doing is pretty cruel.
Yeah, because what they're actually doing can come off as just collecting a trophy.
Like what they're actually doing is incredibly cruel. That's the problem, because there's no way that goes over well. That like really,
The best thing they could do is just give like the phone to another Ukrainian person.
exactly.
That probably isn't an option, and at the current moment, with just how many videos there are, they might just see their son getting a bullet through the skull. Or a bomb land 5 feet away from him. And now he's gone.
Now he's in pieces.
Exactly.
You know,
And then
it's
Oh, what? When did that happen?
like 20 minutes ago. Like shit like that. It's genuinely terrible. Because I can't even really say if the certain Russian soldiers are doing this because they genuinely just want them to know. I can't be mad at them because what they're doing, like I said, is ennoble in a way. What they're trying to do, it's ennoble in a way to tell their family, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just killed your boy. He's dead."
You also have to imagine they're not having the soldier who just killed them do that.
Probably not. But I
the
don't
parents
think
not going
mother's
to
gonna-
recognize that.
Yeah, and they're not going to really care. Like, they're not... they're going to say, you killed my boy. You as a people.
Or they'll
It's-
just deny it.
yeah, or they'll just deny it, but... it's not really going to work. He's not going to come back either way. It's a fucking trap. Yeah, that's what I mean, Peyton, when I say that is incredibly cruel.
Yeah, I understand now.
Yeah. Because they don't mean it to be, but it is. It's incredibly cruel.
Jace, did you have any thoughts about this?
Did he mute himself again?
Whoops. So, I mean, the thoughts that I kind of had were basically just aligned with Raymond, pretty much like one for one there. So, yeah.
I think it was Raymond when you brought up trophies that reminded me, and I'm sorry for bringing up like individual little things to keep making points on about stuff we've already talked about, but I saw this picture of I forgot where it fucking was, but and I'm probably not gonna put it in post because it's just a fucking weird picture. Not weird, but like yeah, it makes me feel weird looking at it.
But it's like sadistic.
Kind of, yeah. It's a picture of a Ukrainian soldier holding out like, and this is like cell phone picture from his perspective. He's like holding out a rifle that he took as a trophy off of a dead Russian Special Forces soldier. And the first thing you obviously notice is, oh, yeah, he has a cool gun that not many people actually have access to in real life because it's reserved for the Russian Special Forces. But then your eyes wander a little bit and you see that the guy he killed and took the gun from is just in the background with, like, blood pouring from his helmet.
Jesus.
Jeez.
And that's fucked up. All the comments, of course, were like, oh, cool, awesome.
Bro just got a new
nice gun.
CSGO skin.
Yo,
Yeah, it's
No,
like,
looks bow.
I believe I actually saw a video of a guy like holding out a gun like he was inspecting it in CSGO. Like he was literally just copying the movements. And it just had stickers on it. It had like anime stickers on it. That was going to be used to kill someone's child. And it just had anime stickers covering it.
I don't know why I think it's just super fucked up to be, like, documenting trophies you take with the person you took it from still in the photo.
See, the thing is, remove the person from the photo and it's still extremely fucked up.
Exactly.
He is actively bragging about the fact that he just executed someone.
That he
Yeah.
killed them. He's proud of it.
Yeah, I don't know, it was just kind of a random tangent.
I mean, I'd say that's
That was
very...
pretty on topic. I mean,
That's
that's what we were
very
just
on
talking
topic.
about.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think that actually leads me to some more questions real quick before we even hop off. I think what do you guys think about what do you guys think the Russian response in the future, moving forward, is going to be when it comes to Ukrainian? No, other way around. What do you think the Ukrainian response would be to Russians?
Ooh.
Like to the Russian government or like the Russian people or what?
Well, see, the
Russian
thing is, the
people.
Russian people at this point are going to start hating every Russian. For the simple fact they've already stated that they don't want to take prisoners from artillerist teams anymore because they're bombing residential areas. Which is a conscious choice made by the members of the Russian military.
Yeah.
It was already decided that you can't just say I was following orders and then go and turn a
Right.
civilian into mush.
You can't turn somebody into mist and be like, well, I mean,
Well,
They
but
told
my
me.
commander told me to. What was I gonna do?
not turn somebody into mist.
Exactly.
Oh, that's too hard, man.
Both sides of this war are being just as sadistic to each other. The problem is one of them is the aggressor.
Exactly.
It has been for years.
Exactly. I think this is a war that has been building for decades. As went over, the Ukrainian people and the Russian people have always had pretty tenuous relationships, often. With the Russians, thinking, well, why are you trying to split off from Russia? You're basically Russian. Ukrainians saying, we are not Russia. We are not Russia. Don't group us in. We're not Russia. Don't act like we are. We have our own culture. We even sort of have our own language. Like, we're not just you.
If I am correct, Putin in call with some foreign diplomat said that if Ukraine continues being aggressive in their combat, they will take the statehood away from Ukraine at the end of this.
What? What do they even mean?
Annexation.
I don't
Oh
think
my
Russia
God.
could afford that, like economically. Like
I don't think
no,
they
they
can
definitely could. The only thing they could do is turn the entire area into rubble, and then
as it
We-
stands, I think they can barely afford to keep the two little Donbass republics afloat after this whole thing blows over.
I agree. Like, this is
Like, they don't
devastating for
actually
their
care
economy.
about them. They're just using them as pawns to start a fucking war of aggression. That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
anyways.
I kind of have to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, Russia's been trying to think of 1,000 ways, it seems like, to start some kind of war of aggression against Ukraine. It seems like they're constantly switching as well. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. It feels like they're constantly switching reasons as to why they're doing this,
yeah, I've seen that too.
and I don't know how to feel about that. I'd say for the most part, are there any other questions you want to ask, Peyton?
Hmm. I think I had one more, but I think I forgot.
yeah, there was one more thing. I just can't remember it.
Alright, I got it. What was that?
When I was talking about the denazification stuff, did I mention that Russia bombed a Holocaust memorial? I don't remember if I did or not.
No.
Yeah, there was a video, I'll have to track it down and probably put it in post because I don't fucking remember where I found it. But, during an interview with, a Western news source, I think, because he was speaking in English, Zelensky, gets pulled off to the side and the reporters follow him. And he gets told, by one of his guys who's with him that, he's just like, hey, the Russians, bombarded the monument to, I forgot what he called it. I think he was like the tragedy. And Zelensky, the whole time he's just stone-faced. He's just like, he says this in English. I think he says it in English. Well, that's Russia. That's it.
Damn. What a fucking
Holy-
way to put
And
it.
he just walks
That is-
off.
Well, that's Russia.
Jesus, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because Zelensky is Jewish. He had relatives that died in the Holocaust, and
Oh no!
yeah, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is. I didn't know that. That's really bad. Oh no, dude. Jesus. Wow, that is a.
What a Russian moment.
What a Russian moment, man.
Yeah, fuck.
But there's something really almost like powerful about being like, well, that's Russia. Like, what do you expect? This is what they do.
So
Yeah.
I have a question to like all y'all niggas actually. How do you think this is going to affect like the next generations of Ukraine and Russia? Because I mean, they haven't had like a full out scale war for quite a while. Or if ever?
They've
I mean, within like modern times, the last few hundred years, I don't think they have.
Sometimes, yeah, I'm pretty sure they
Yeah,
have.
but this is going to be the first generation of people who they've just been fighting and killing each other in that region.
I would say
That's a very good question.
I'm not too well versed on the history of Ukraine as a Soviet republic, but I'm fairly certain during World War II there was a lot of shit like
Didn't they starve them?
that
Yes.
was the Holodomor. That was in the
Yeah.
1920s because if I remember correctly, I could be wrong on this. I haven't researched this much. During Stalin's attempts at forced collectivization of farms, there were a lot of wealthy aggregate landowners in Ukraine, the kulaks, who adamantly refused to be collectivized and were hoarding food and livestock during a horrific famine, which was being compounded by an artificial famine that the Russians had, I believe the Russians had instigated.
Yep.
And so the kulaks had their land forcibly taken away because they were hoarding resources during, I guess, two famines at once. And they were largely killed or imprisoned permanently while their land was redistributed. But yeah, largely fucked up situation. Met hundreds of thousands of people. It might have been well over 1 million people starved to death because of all that shit. And
I think the Holodomor. I think it was like 3 million.
somewhere along those lines, I
2
believe.
million? It was an insane amount of people.
But yeah, I'm sorry for saying this, but oh God, I don't want to both sides of fucking genocide, but neither the kulaks nor the Russian government were particularly good actors.
No, not in the slightest. But the
Um,
thing is, the average person wasn't a kulak.
Yeah, I know, but
They were just a
another
guy.
thing is that when it came down to it, the kulaks began to burn the food and crops that they had stored and slaughter the livestock and just throw it away.
Yeah. They did kind of baby. They did baby rapes. That's not a joke. They did.
Yeah, I don't
There's
know.
no other way to describe.
I think I
There's
just
no other
turned
way to
this into
describe
a
it.
weird discussion about the Holodomor. I'm sorry.
We need to talk about the Holodomor because nobody ever fucking talks about it. It was horrible. It was genuinely like a. It was a genocide.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, like millions of people died. When they didn't have not those kind of people didn't have to die. Those numbers didn't have to go that high. It was just insane that even happened and that it's never talked about. I didn't know about the fucking Holodomor until like what, fucking a month ago. Oh, shit's crazy. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
here. Sorry.
All right.
Shit. I don't remember the other thing I was gonna talk about, which is fun, I suppose. Fuck. I'm gonna try to remember really quick, sorry.
Boy didn't write down his questions.
Well, no, this is a thought that I had while we were discussing something else, when I was like, hey, 2 more things before we stop. Fuck. God. Ooh. I just had a fun one. I don't know if we want to discuss this or just stop, but,
In this lesson real quick.
the idea that we have to look critically at every single piece of information we consume about this because propaganda from both sides is running rampant on the internet. Sorry?
I said it's running incredibly rampant. That is just objectively true.
Yeah, pro-Russian people are making shit up. There's lots of stuff from the war in Crimea that is being recirculated as new footage. Shit like that. Stuff from... Yeah, lots of, like, reused footage being peddled as new stuff. Largely by people on the internet who just want free internet points.
Yep.
And
I mean,
I think it's super fucked up to be, like, ego profiting off of a war.
It's
It
all about
is.
them points, baby. Gotta
It's
get
all
those
about
in
the points.
or you die.
It's all about the points, baby.
Yeah,
What you expect?
because, like, that video of the helicopter getting shot down, it's like,
Damn it.
oh wow, this was posted in, like, 5 different places, and each time it's gotten, like... Oh god, this is gonna sound stupid. Each time it's gotten, like, Reddit rewards, like, platinum and gold and shit. And it's like, what? You're giving someone fake internet bullshit money award things because they
You're giving
posted a
these
video
fuckers-
that they didn't make of a war that they aren't fighting in that they probably don't actually care about beyond seeing the cool haha funny helicopter detonate and people die.
I mean, no, I'd say that's decently fair, man. It is genuinely crazy. It is crazy that is a thing that is happening. There's so much propaganda, and people just genuinely... So the fucking Crimea thing, I've noticed a lot. I have noticed that. When you try to sometimes look for, like, shit like that, you'll see, like, the Crimea War, and people in the comments have straight up point out, like, hey, this is from the Crimea War. And the guy would just respond, yes. He's like, why didn't you say that? It was not relevant. Like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean it wasn't relevant? There's a massive war going on right now in Ukraine. Like it's insane. I would say though, I think people who genuinely benefit off of that, who genuinely like, I'm gonna get lots of internet points if I post this guy's fucking head blowing up.
Brownie points, here
They're
we come.
They're the exact kind of people we were talking about who've been unbelievably desensitized to violence and death. To where they see it as something that they can gain off of. Whether or not it's anything they'll actually gain, it doesn't matter to them. They don't care.
You say that, but Peyton is actively gaining education points off of the death of thousands of people.
Oh god.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's okay though.
Yeah, because this is thinking critically.
Yeah.
Okay when we do it. It's okay when we do it. It's different. We're not like them.
I was in charge of the army. Things would be different.
I'm Mr. Army.
I would make some big changes.
Bro, what the fuck does that mean?
You know what that means, asshole.
Bro,
What?
so kill him.
We're going straight for the bombs, boys.
What did he mean by this?
What did he mean by this?
Oh,
Wait,
god.
does Russia not have access to, like, Predator drones?
I thought you said Redditor drones. I was like, what the fuck are those? Those motherfuckers in deep.
I haven't seen a single video of a Russian Predator drone just, like,
Well, Russia has drones. I just don't know if they're using them at all.
They're really trying to go for those up dudes, dog.
Like, they have... I believe when I saw that, like... It's not a live map, but, like, an interactive map before the invasion of, like, the composition of Russian forces, there were, like, special drone units in some of the battalions. But other than that, they're probably just using recon drones? I have no fucking idea. Russia's been, like, weird throughout this whole war. Like, on the first day, they claimed to have, like, completely wiped out Ukrainian, anti-air capability, and that is very obviously incorrect.
That was a lie. That was a lie.
It was a
Well, yeah,
fat
that's
lie.
because they had gotten false information about Ukraine's actual like infrastructure pertaining to air defense.
Yeah, no, I
So
think
they bombed the wrong building.
Yep, they thought Ukraine was how to describe it? They thought it was much weaker, I think, than it was.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was not.
They definitely weren't expecting the amount of
Resistance.
so far.
Yep.
I think that's exemplified with how the VDV's been treated during all this. Like on the very first day, the VDV paratroopers dropped into an airport in Kiev, and doctrinally, the VDV paratroop into something strategically valuable, and then within a few hours, armored support comes in and helps them. They did not get that armored support within a few days, even, and they just got fucking wiped out completely by, like, I think Ukrainian reservists.
Jesus. I've been hearing about that. So basically, what he's saying is that what airborne troops have been like paratrooping down and just getting like fucking annihilated
Because they don't have support, because their support
Yeah,
is still,
zero.
like, near the border and nowhere near
Exactly.
Kiev.
Yeah, it's really like Russia's logistical capabilities have been really being shown to be kind of weak.
Yeah, and there's other stuff with the VDV. Ukraine claims to have shot down like 4 VDV transport aircraft.
Fucking Christ, that's so many dead people.
That's a lot of dead
There was
people.
another incident where VDV people mistakenly parachuted into freezing ocean water in the middle of the night instead of land, and they all drowned to death or froze to death.
What?
And according to
That's
like
rough.
the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense and the people who were there, they were like, "We were just watching. We didn't have to fire a single shot." That's a
That's
fucked
really
up way to go.
fucked.
Oh my
That's
god.
fucked.
Because you have to
God.
imagine, as a paratrooper, you have like 70 pounds of shit on you, probably with no hydrostatic release. You're
Yep.
getting dropped into what you thought was gonna be like grass or concrete, and you just slam into freezing ocean water, and I have to imagine you're hit with shock immediately. And you have so much shit on you that you can't swim, or you, I don't want to say don't know how to swim, but don't know how to swim.
God, that is
I mean,
That
do you
is
know how to
really
swim with
bad.
70 pounds of equipment?
exactly like that. That's insane. That is. They're just throwing their
Probably
people away at
denser
that
than you.
point.
Man,
They're just throwing it away. What the fuck is wrong with them?
this is really proving the uselessness of paratroopers in the modern battlefield.
I wouldn't know if I'd even say that.
Bro, it's
It's
like,
showing the uselessness of paratroopers without any kind of logistical or fire support. Because that's what they need. That they
Oh
have
my
to, because otherwise they get annihilated.
bro, it's like they're punishing the VDV for existing.
I swear to God. Like,
and
what were they
Just
thinking?
recently,
What?
like, a VDV general was killed in a Ukrainian artillery strike on, like, a Russian unit.
Wait, was it that one fucking guy? Was it the dude with the big beard?
Not the Chechen, it was, like, an
Okay.
actual VDV general. The Chechen guy is, like, fucking insane. He's one of the dudes, I believe, who, like, prosecuted the slaughter of Chechens, like, indiscriminately.
I remember he was genuinely fucking crazy.
That is so fucked. You guys just referenced 2 different people that you saw like videos of getting blown up.
I don't know, right? That's the problem. That's the problem with this war because it's so unbelievably televised and so easy to see people genuinely just dying.
It was height of detail for you to go, wait, are you talking about the one with like the beard, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Russians genuinely, like, they were so... But I shouldn't say Russians by any means. The Russian government and a lot of their military were genuinely, like, so dejected when the guy with the beard died, the Chechen guy. They were so upset. He was considered, like, a great military general. But he was also a monster, so, you know... Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, but I think this largely, wraps it up. Probably.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I would say so.
Remind we should do an outro.
Yes, we should.
Yo.
You have to play this in class.
Yeah. I have
You
to
have to,
edit
you
this
have
in.
to, yeah, after this, then you have to put in. the
Everybody has to do a
last
30-minute
thing we talked about.
freestyle.
No.
A 30-minute freestyle.
And
Go.
then they roasted my life for 15 minutes.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Have a
I
nice
want to
day.
see. Where's my 30-minute freestyle, man? I want to see.
No, fuck all of you. Have a nice day. By the way, I'm still 6'6".
Fuck.
Yeah, I
Fuck all
can
of
touch
you.
my ceiling.
I'm 6'4".
Yeah, okay, you're short.
Alright. Yeah, fuck all of you. Go find a better trade.
He's like 4'2".
Fuck off. Hey,
He's a very
blue
small-
collars for
Matthew
life.
is literally
Blue collars
like
for
a
life.
fucking
Blues collars.
tiny fuck.
He's Bro. This motherfucker
This nigga-
like James.
This nigga Matthew built like a fucking beanpole.
Beanpole.
disgusting little individual he is. I swear to God.
God. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Kick him in his teeth.
So
Thank you for watching.
Wait, I haven't done my outro yet.
That's because you're
No
a
one wants to
bitch.
hear
End the
from
video.
you.
End the video.
Yeah, if
And
you
I
made
love
it,
you.
if
Right
you
there,
made it
right
this far in the raw version, I just want to ask why.
Oh,
Unless you're
if
my
you,
professor.
if you even like listen to the raw version, I am so sorry for you.
If you're
Honestly,
my,
you
if
should
you're my,
not
if you're
do
my
this.
professor watching this because I sent it to you on like Sunday evening, expecting you to watch it and help me pick
Can I
out
see
cool
your
shit to show
feet?
to the class, I'm very sorry.
Yeah. I would like to personally apologize for Caleb's actions today.
Mine?
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
always changing your picture like every 14 seconds.
Fuck off. No
Make
one
us
needs to
refer to
know
you by
that.
different names.
Hey, yo, cut this out. Cut this out.
Oh god, yeah, I'm stopping it right now.